Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and today we have 4 new Kubey knives. Now, I've actually tried the premium version of this knife. I believe I have a review or a first impressions. If I do, I'll put a little card up there in the corner if you guys want to come back here and click on it. But this one's the budget version though, and it is very affordable. The action is good. However, there's one little thing that we'll get into here in a second. It has 14C 28N blade steel. I'm so happy that Kubey is starting to use that steel. I am hoping that they get rid of all their D2 and start using the 14C. Not that I dislike D2 at this price tag, because Kubey doesn't do a bad job with it or anything like that, but this is more stainless. This is more stainless, easier to sharpen, easy to maintain. But anyways, the action. So, but I believe it was Kubey last year, at the end of last year, wound up getting the best detents of the year, or at least the most consistent detents. Their detents have been, they've knocked them out of the park. Like, it's crazy how good their detents are. This one came light. So this is one little strike against them this year, which is not bad, because this is something I can easily fix. I can easily fix this, and I'll probably do it live with the Bang Gang Squad or something like that, which is my join membership. Anyways, I can easily fail this. It is very light. Now, just because it's very light doesn't mean I can't easily deploy it as well, because it is fall shut action. There is jimping on the flipper tab, but it's very minimal and you almost can't even feel it. Oh, and by the way, I will have everything linked down in the description. So all of these knives you can find down in the description, and there's lots of different options of each one. The ceramic caged bearings do make it very, very smooth. The reverse flicking deployment, very, very easy, whether you're right-handed or left-handed. This is going to be a great option for lefties, because we have a deep carry reversible clip. T8 hardware all the way around. Love to see that. Now, the clips are a little bit better than they were previously. They were a little bit more smashed right here where there was less room. Now there's a little bit more room. This one is kind of lifted up a little bit. Maybe I just need to tighten that screw down. I haven't messed with it. I'm sure I can just tighten the screw down. But this is also a Jelly Jerry design. The premium version of this is done so well. Very, very good knife. It is a harder use, tough knife, very robust. Now with this one, they did an incredible job with the plunge grind. You can see it starts here, ends here. You have all of this life right here to sharpen out before you ever hit the plunge grind. The geometry is a little bit on the more robust side. It's not super thin or anything, but it's also, you know, a large knife, and the ergos are so good. I love when a knife gets meaty back here in the hand, where you can really, you know, squeeze down and get a lot of leverage into a cut. The choil is more of a sharpening choil than a finger choil, but you can definitely choke up and use it. Access to the lock bar is really good. Detent is nice and early, and it is fall shut action. I am definitely going to tune the detent a little bit stronger. I've got videos on how to do that if you don't know, but then this thing will be, oh, it'll be so good. And like I said, Kubey's detents have been extremely consistent across the board. Now, the next one is this guy. So I actually have the premium version of this, and I do have a first impressions on it. I'll put another card up here in the corner if you want to check out the premium version of this, which is a titanium frame lock in 20 CV. So this is the budget version in 14C 28N. The titanium frame lock version was very impressive. I actually just recently sent it to somebody to check out as well, because I like to do that sometimes and, you know, let other reviewers check them out. But this one is so comfortable in the hand. When just squeezing it right here, oh, this thing melts in my hand. Very, very comfortable. My 2 fingers land perfectly right there, my other 2 right there, and back here, it nestles personally in my hand very, very well. Now, the jimping and ramp right here, it is back a little bit farther, but I can totally use it like this. But when I'm choked up right there, my thumb does kind of land right there. So this kind of does get me right there, but I can easily, you know, nestle my thumb like that. Access to the lock bar, really good. Detent's nice and early, so it's easy to get past. Again, fall shut action, and in this case, the detent is fantastic. Perfect detent for the deployment option, which are big thumb studs. Big, giant thumb studs that have a lot of grip on them. There is a lot of jimping around them, which makes it have a lot of traction. You can put your thumb right on top and slow roll it, or right underneath it. So underneath it, or right on top of it. You can reverse flick it, or you can just thumb flick it. All of them work great. No problems on the deployment at all. And sometimes, or usually, I like to just grip it and I just put my finger right here. It's kind of like right underneath the thumb or the big stud. And I just reverse flick right there. And it works great. It's almost like I'm using a reverse flicking hole instead of a giant thumb stud. Now, the thumb studs, yes, they're big. They could get in the cutting path a little bit. But for the most part, the way this is angled in your hand, the stuff's going to go like this. So with the other one, I didn't have any trouble with anything going into the thumb stud. So I don't even think that'll be a problem. We have T8 hardware again, all the way around. I believe this is a T10 pivot. I believe that's a T10 pivot. Deep carry clip, again, reversible. So that's very awesome. And these things come in a lot of different options. So many different options. Now, we have two more to get to, but I technically have already shown these on my channel, but we got some new ones. So this one is my new favorite Kubey as of right now. I have another one on the way that's new. I haven't received it yet, but this is the Momentum, and oh my goodness, I love this one. This is right now my favorite Kubey. That's a big statement because I have a lot of Kubeys I like, but it's just so comfortable in the hand. The action is so good on this. They did the best front flipper. Like, it's high, right? So where it's hard to explain this, but the way the front flipper is nice and high right here, and how this like is knocked down where the pivot is more forward this way, makes it to where you have a great amount of leverage and there's nothing in the way right here for you to go past. So it's so easy to just flick. You know, the front flipper is something that I don't think anybody could have a problem with. I can't imagine somebody grabbing this and having an issue front flipping this. Even if you want to slow roll it, the jimping is the exact kind of jimping that every front flipper should have, in my opinion. It goes all the way around exactly how a front flipper should be, and you can place your thumb just like that, roll it around, and lock it in. So it's super easy to roll, because a lot of front flippers, they go right here and then they stop, and you don't have enough room with the front flipper to drag around. In this case, you have plenty of leverage all the way around with the front flipper to lock it in place. And the lockup is rock solid. It pulls the blade into the locking position. Nice, strong lockup. Yeah, I love it. Access to the lock bar, really good. Nice early detent. Look at how early that is. So you're always past it. Complete fall shut action. It takes about, 50 flips or so, and this thing just becomes a straight guillotine. So the thumb studs placed very well. The grip, when you're gripping the handle, it's just, you have plenty of grip to get to the thumb stud and kind of do one of these motions or the reverse flick. It's really good. I definitely highly recommend this one to anybody. T8 hardware all the way around. I believe it's also a T10 pivot. Deep carry clip. Not inset, but it does have flat screws. They all, I believe, have flat screws, so that's really good. I like that Kubey's doing that. And it is reversible. So this is a great option for lefties as well, especially with this nice early detent. I mean, you're past it so fast. And it has a nice twang to it. You guys might not be picking it up on the mic, but it's got a really nice sound. Now, the choil is done pretty well. A little deceptive, but the plunge grind starts here, ends about right there. So you do have plenty of life to sharpen away. Love the type of drop point it is. It's almost a harpoon because of this, which locks you in, by the way. You get nice and close to that blade. It's super comfortable. And this is one of my favorite parts about this knife. And I've used the other one. I actually recently mailed my other one out to another reviewer that he better like it. If he doesn't like it, something's wrong with him. And I'm going to unsubscribe from his channel if so. So I'm obviously joking. But the handle, the way the handle is designed with the blade, if you look, it goes like this. So when you're holding it like this, it's aiming at what you're cutting. So when you start cutting, everything gets trapped into the blade. It functions so good. You can get a lot of pressure on the jimping on the spine, and you can use it like this very comfortably for utility cuts. You don't have to lift up very high to get to the tip. This thing works great. It is a beautiful example of a drop point. And there's something about the slow roll on this that's satisfying. If you guys have had a lot of knives in your hand, or whoever's watching this, if you've had a lot of knives in your hand, then you know what I'm talking about when I say, like, when you can just get a thumb stud and just do like a half circle. There's something satisfying about that when it just works really well and it's super smooth. But my only one complaint is just where the stop pin hits right here, but it's really not even that big of a deal because, you know, that's a lot of steel to remove to ever hit that stop pin, so I'm not even upset at it. Lots of weight relieving, so it does have a good weight. Let's get to the last one really quick. I'm taking way too long on that one. Now, this is the other new one. I also have another first impressions on this one. Same thing, deep carry clip that is reversible. Flat screws. 14C on this one. Man, I wish they would have did the 14C on this one. This would have been awesome with 14C, but CM Designs, this one's another awesome one. I really like the type of front flipper this one has. Now, the difference, I do like this one better though, I'll be honest. I like this one better. However, this one is really good, and it's also really good for you to just use like a regular flipper. It has the kind of jimping you want on a front flipper. Really good jimping, and it's kind of got a mohawk, so you can put your thumb right on top and kind of just yank down. Works extremely well. But you can't do like this. Well, I guess you can, but it's not that easy to do this number. You can kind of lay your finger down and drag it down like this, but it's not that satisfying. But where you pull it down like a regular flipper and a regular front flip with the thumb works great. The hole is a little tight. It works better for a lefty because there's more access to the hole on this side, because you have the jimping from the liner lock in the way. But it's still, you can thumb flick it, reverse flick it, works great. Good access to the liner or to the lock bar. It has that little bit of jimping poking out. And the ergos on this are, again, very, very comfortable. Kubey is just doing such a good job at the thickness, the width, and how comfortable these knives are in the hand. This is not a very large knife. The one thing that I wish was different is that the handle, you know, is very, very neutral. But the blade sweeps up. I wish it went downward, where the same exact blade shape just angled downward, because the utility cuts are going to be great. So nothing wrong with the utility cuts. It's the slicing. When it's angled up like that, you have the tendency to slip out of a cut. And when you're cutting straps have the tendency to slip up and around, right? So when we grab the momentum, you see how this one's angled forward where things get caught. When it's turned towards me, see how it's angled towards me? So ropes or straps or plastic can't slip. They're just going to get cut. So that's my one complaint about it so far. And that's very minimal, because you can technically just kind of crank your wrist the right way to make it work. And this is a really good working blade shape. Great geometry, beautiful plunge grind, lots of great things, and love the steel. And this one also comes in, all of these come in many different options. But this video's gone on long enough. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Everything will be linked below. Peace!